suffering because of,
Hmm.
okay.
Sorry
So,
about that. Yeah.
no, it's okay. It's all right. So just to recap, the trip was much different. This time it was not a religious thing at all. It was much more a cultural thing, but trying to understand, and I would say even firsthand experience what anti-Semitism looked like.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm going to take you through one day. This is my fourth day of the trip. I've been helping orphanages, helping poor people, senior centers, trying to provide them some hope, some reason to think this was just a phase
Hmm.
and that the world cared about them. And that was extremely important to do. So uh, I want to start on our trip this day started actually at a place called Bay Alium. Um, Alamum, and it actually this is a bomb shelter. Um, a lot of the conversation today was about how Israel had a plan to be attacked versus how they were actually attacked. What would be important to you to know, Matthew, is this is the actual place where our friend Amit and his brother Yigal were killed.
Hmm.
I thought it was at their village. Our tour guide knew them both, and he says that they died near these bomb shelters, defending the people that were in them from attack. Now, these are old style bomb shelters. You can see the air conditioning unit on the side. They're underground. They don't look like a bomb shelter. You get to them from underground. And so, had all the bomb shelters been this old style,
Hmm.
things might have been very different on October 7th. A lot of the people that were killed in their bomb shelters, either in their home, their safe houses, or one of the ones that were on the street. What changed was chemical and biological warfare. And so during the Gulf War, there was a fear that chemical and biological warfare was going to be used. Those things would penetrate the soil. Anybody underground would be affected, and so they moved the bomb shelters up above ground. Also, the missiles now were much faster. They get there in a matter of seconds, and so to places like this that are along the Gaza Strip. And so every bus station along every major road now has a bomb shelter above ground.
Hmm.
They don't have any doors on them because they don't. We're not looking at it being an attack. They were trying to protect from fragments of things coming through. So they have very small doors, very narrow in access, but they're widely available. This is an entranceway to one, a new style bomb shelter,
Yeah.
right? This is what one looks like near a bus station. You see the little bus stop on the right hand side
Yeah.
there? Yeah, that's so every bus stop has one. They have graffiti all over them. And you can see the little narrow doorway there just to the left by the face of the dog painted on it. This is taken as I drove by a bus station. This one was attacked, but it wasn't. There weren't a lot of people that were involved in this particular one. I'm going to take you to one though that we went to that's quite famous. That's this one here. This is known as the Hirschbaum Shelter. It's named after the most famous person who was killed in it. He's an American citizen. A lot of people, as you know, Amit as well, and his brother Yigal had dual citizenship. So he was an American citizen. Um, and so when you go to the bomb shelters, what you notice very quickly are things are different. First of all, instead of the bus stop at the Hirsch bus station, Hirsch bomb shelter, there's actually postings of people's stories. These are the people who were taken hostage or killed there. Um, Also, you'll notice, and you can see my finger in the lower right hand corner pointing to one. That's a picture of Hirsch, by the way. That's just above my finger. That's a fragment taken out by a bullet, probably a 50 caliber bullet.
Oh, wow.
They used heavy bullets to try to get into it. They didn't know who was inside. And so when Hamas attacks, they're afraid that they're going to get killed if they approach the doorway. They don't know if anybody in there is armed. In this particular one, nobody was armed, but there were two IDF soldiers, a man named Shapiro, last name Shapiro,
Hmm.
and then Hirsch. They were best friends. And as we see, this is an entranceway. You can see how narrow it is. That's two of my bus mates, and you can see they're like almost at the edges of it. You could put like three people body width wise through there. You can notice if you look at the top, you see the bullet fragments and holes there,
The
right,
top.
right near the top of the screen, right under where it says Hirsch.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
bullet fragments. So you can see where there's sort of in a triangular thing. That's because Hamas was literally shooting in this doorway. They were trying to see if they could ricochet bullets off of there and kill people inside. They
Wow.
did manage to do that with a few people, um, and those people got dragged to the back. So what typically happens is when you go into one of these bomb shelters, you go all the way to the back in this back corner. You can see where it's a memorial now with candles all below it and stickers from people who were killed with their faces on it,
Hmm.
and people coming in and taking pictures. It's a memorial. But you can see how short it is. You could get comfortably about 12 people in there. On that given day, they said there may have been like 25 crammed in there. So it was a very busy uh, bomb shelter on that particular day.
Yeah.
Here we see a picture that actually was taken from a video from people inside during the attack. In the lower left-hand corner, the person who's sitting down there is actually Hirsch. The person with the glasses on his forehead is actually Shapiro.
Okay.
This is the moment when Shapiro realizes that this is not just a missile attack. They thought this was just a missile attack. Their expectation was to go into a bomb shelter, wait about 15 to 30 minutes, get an all clear signal, and come back out. So they were crammed into this bomb shelter, not worried about it. All of a sudden, they start hearing vehicles, Arabic language, gunshots. Shapiro and Hirsch are both IDF soldiers. Shapiro has about a month left in his before he fulfills his time in the military.
Hmm.
He stands up, steps to the front of the crowd, tells everybody, "It's going to be okay. I'm an IDF soldier. I know what to do. Follow my lead. Move to the back. If I fall, somebody has to pick up where I left off." And he was probably speaking directly to Hirsch, his friend. Um, and so here we see Shapiro. Actually, this is from a live video that was taken where he realized that the danger was not the gunshots that were coming in. That would kill a few people. But that if he hid in the right spot, he'd probably be safe from that. But he wouldn't be safe from rocket fire or more likely hand grenades.
Hmm.
And so he began to catch hand grenades and throw them back out.
Wow.
He finally missed one and chose to dive on the hand grenade to save everybody inside, and of course died instantly. I saw his grave while we were there. This is video of what happened after. Hirsch did in fact pick up and start doing it himself. Hirsch caught a hand grenade and went to throw it back off. It went off in his hand and blew off his left arm. And so his family saw this video, didn't know who it was at first until the shot I'm about to show you, um, uh, and then realized when they saw this that it was their son with his arm blown off. So I wanted to show you this video. And again, I'm just trying to get a sense for you on how intense this was compared to what we experienced.
Yeah.
I wanted to share this video. This is actually now a memorial site. You can see the bullet holes even deep inside. Once they got inside, they started actually shooting and killing people. Some people survived here. They survived because they were underneath dead bodies, and Hamas just assumed that they were dead too, and in the fog of war left. So I want you to listen to the sound. Can you hear the sound?
No.
You might hear crying.
Nope, I can't hear anything on my end.
Okay. You may hear it on. You may need to get a speaker, turn it up. But the young man that you saw there was actually somebody from my bus. When we were there, a woman walked in and was there to memorialize somebody that she knew, and just began sobbing uncontrollably. And my classmate, who served as our chaplain, also was comforting her. So it's quite intense, um, and it was a very intense moment. Let me see if I can go. past this. Or if it's going to make me do it again, I might have to go out and back in. So that was just one stop, first stop on the first day.
Yeah.
So this is the second stop on that day. Do you remember the Gaza wall that we saw with Emmett?
Yeah.
Okay, we saw two walls, and there were concrete walls, and we were maybe 75 yards away, 100 yards away from the wall. This is how close I was to the. You see the top of that fence line?
Uh-huh.
That barbed wire fence. That is the same Gaza wall that we saw before, but the barbed wire version that goes all the way around it in a different town called Kfar Aza. Now, do you remember beyond that wall? If you looked over the wall, you would have seen skyscrapers and things like that that were tall buildings in the city in Gaza City. You may or may not remember that, but it was a robust. Gaza is actually a robust city.
Yeah.
If you look there at what you're looking in front of you, that is what was left of Gaza when I was there. And as you can tell from the smoke, while we were there, Israel was dropping bombs. So we were listening to the military attacks as they happened, and as we were listening to guides tell us the stories that happened in Kfar Aza. Kfar Aza is a little tiny kibbutz near, not too far from where Emmett's kibbutz was.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first attacked. They were under attack for 9 hours before they saw any military response at all. And the woman that told us the story, actually her entire family was there, but she was out of town at the time of the attack. And so they selected her because she has less direct emotional damage from it to actually be a spokesperson for the town when they reopened the town to allow tourists to come and see what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to sort of share. Oh, I need to see if I can get this. Hang on a second.
Take your time.
Yeah. Let me go back and start to slide over.
I think that a few months ago, Kevin, like a lot of Americans, had questions about Gaza, and it was, they were talking about Gaza a lot in the news.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And, there's, at the end, I'll share with you a little bit about the difference in attitude for I spoke to the same gentleman that we talked to from the media who was so hostile about how his family had had their lands taken from them. When we were spoke to the same gentleman. His attitude about what's going on there is entirely different. His attitude is that Hamas needs to go. And so even the Palestinians that are free to talk realize that what happened October 7th did not help their cause. This is a poster that we saw. Did I help to address some of that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people here in the United States, and this is why passages are so important, they don't understand at all. They think that this is just a genocidal thing that's happening. The Israelis had a genocidal experience, and now they're enforcing it on the Palestinians. That's not true. This story actually will help you see part of that. This is the poster of a man who was abducted. He is not Jewish. He's not American. He's actually a Filipino foreign national who was there working because the Palestinians had begun to pull back and not remember how Emmett was trying to hire people who were Palestinian to give them better jobs. At a certain point, they began to pull back, and so Israel began to hire foreign nationals. They took him hostage. He was completely innocent, and he's not a Jew. They took Bedouins, including some of them from Hirsch's bomb shelter that we just saw. They took them hostage, even though they are an entirely peaceful people and Arab. So it's not even a race thing. It's a land thing and a hate thing. Here's a picture. I'm just trying to hit some of the things that we saw. We saw people's houses with their photos and their stories outside on URLs. These are the security officers. Let me tell you how ugly this got. The Jews, as you remember, were hiring Palestinians, as we said, to work there. Hamas, once they figured out how to take advantage of that, began to accost those people when they came home at night in Gaza and forced them to give up intelligence. So they forced them to tell things like who were the security people in the town who had access to guns. The guns had become locked up by Israeli law in an armory, a sort of anti-gun response. They found out where the armory was. They found out where the high spots were that you could use to sniper anybody trying to get into the armory. All of the security people in Kfar Aza and nearly every kibbutz were killed within 15 minutes of the first attack because they went to the high points, put snipers on the roof, and guarded the armory so they could get no weapons. So all these guys in the photo died within a few feet of the armory that you see in the building that's behind this poster. So it was very hard for Jews to receive that people that they knew and had trusted and had hired turned against them and gave security under duress, but still gave security. Inside of one of the houses, you can see they not only shot the place up, destroyed the home, they actually pulled food out and ate their food because they were there 9 hours while people were being locked in their safe rooms, while they were trying to break in to kill them. They took a 4-year-old boy in this town, door to door, at gunpoint, and had him tell them where the safe rooms were, took them to the safe rooms, had him cry in Hebrew outside, "They're going to shoot me, they're going to shoot me, open the door and let me in." And when they opened the door, they would kill everybody inside. They did that over and over until one family didn't do it, and then they shot the boy. These are, you remember the missiles that we saw before that Emmett showed us? These are the ones that this town faced. It takes about 15 minutes, I think, for a missile from the time it's fired in Gaza to get there.
Okay.
And you can see how much bigger these were than the ones we had. That's my roommate on the second trip standing. They're almost as tall as his shoulders. So they even have gotten bigger. This is an example of a home. This is on Juvie Row. In each kibbutz, they put young people got their house when they turned 18. One of the couples who was actually a married couple, just gotten married, were living inside of their home. That was the high ground. So the snipers were put on their roofs. So they actually not only knew how to protect against the armory, but where to hit worst first. They literally attacked the kids, took the men hostage, raped the women in those buildings, and then took them hostage again. So this is one of the house entrances. You can see the bullet holes again, huge, all the way going through the door. There was just no chance. The last thing that the lady told us before we left there, right in front of that fence, she said that I wanted to believe that my whole life I've wanted to believe that Palestinians didn't hate us. But when I saw the Palestinians take my neighbors and in trucks across into Gaza and then make us think that their bodies were alive, driving them through the city when they turned out to be dead, spitting on them and beating them. And I saw people come out of their homes and give them cookies and treats to reward them. It makes it hard for me to believe that they really care about us. Yeah. This is the Nova Fest festival. I'm going to take this photo off.
Was that the music festival when Hamas attacked on October 7th?
Yeah, this was probably a coincidental attack. They came across the border wanting to take some of the most populous cities and hold them and possibly even keep them permanently to expand Gaza. They ran instead into this festival. It was a nationalist festival celebrating Israel and their freedom. What you're looking at there is where the bulk of bodies were found, which is right before the stage, and you can see where all of them are memorialized. This was an immensely popular music festival, lots of people there. All the stories are marked. This is a story about people. You can see those yellow containers there in the middle of the screen. Mm-hmm. Those are trash dumpsters. again, remember, people thought that they were going to be under attack for 15 minutes. There were no bomb shelters out here, so they all got on the ground with their hands over their head. They were, a lot of them were stoned and thought that what they were seeing was fireworks. Um,
Mm.
but when they began to hear voices and realized it was more, they started to hide. One of the places were these trash dumpsters. The militants actually went into the trash dumpsters, fired into the trash dumpsters, and killed them inside the trash dumpsters. Another place was, as you can see, this row of latrines that's circled in red. People went into the latrines trying to hide. Same thing. They shot right through the walls of the latrine, killed them in place. One of the things that really was scary is the entire time that this is happening, um, I'm actually realizing, we're actually realizing that we are, and being told constantly that we are prone to attack. You can see the alert that they have there saying that it's 10 minutes to a missile. Time to get to a shelter is 15 seconds. Go directly to the shelter. I actually did experience a missile attack while I was over there. I slept through it. That's a whole nother story. You have individual stories all over the place of people who died there. Their text messages to their families in English and in Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was our last stop of this day. It's a place called the Car Cemetery. On the day of the attack, the road that the Nova Festival was on was lined by cities like Kfar Aza. It's the main north-south road along the Gaza border. And cars there, when people left the Nova Festival in cars, were actually stopped. The police roadblocked them, thinking they were protecting them, and then in come the Muslims, and they actually shot the police, used their cars to block both sides of the roads in both directions, and began walking car to car and burning them up or taking them hostage. Some people managed to drive through the desert and get away, and some of those actually came back and picked up people because they knew where they were hiding in around the Nova Festival area, and kept coming back until they themselves were finally caught and killed. All of those stories and all of those vehicle stories, all the cars that you saw hijacked, the motorcycles and all that, they're all here, either burnt out or available. And they have these little names of the buses, names of the vehicles, and these URLs. You can scan them and actually see the stories. So this is the story of this minibus. You can see that it's a group of retirees that are going to the Dead Sea. You remember going there.
Yep.
And their vehicle receives some fire. The tires go flat. They pull over to try to change the tire and then realize that they're under attack. They try to go into a bomb shelter. They couldn't, and were actually attacked by Hamas and all killed to a person. Retirees, right? Just like me. All they wanted to do was go to the Dead Sea for the day.
Yeah.
Here's a story. That's my tour guide. He's standing in front of a burnt out ambulance. This ambulance was at the Nova Festival when the attack came, took some of the initial victims and drove them back to the hospital, returned to the Nova Festival several times, and had a load of people that it was taking back when they experienced trouble and decided to start treating people in the field. They were treating some unknown number of people, and an RPG blew up the ambulance. Initially, they thought it was maybe a dozen people. Later, they found there was so much damage to the bodies that they couldn't determine who was who. Mm-hmm. And they found out that several of the people that they thought had managed to get, and told their families that they managed to get to Gaza as hostages, actually had died in this ambulance. And so you see they have the story there again. So they have the example here of Eliakim and Shani, who were identified as missing 47 days, and actually 200 days. And then later on, they found their DNA in the ambulance and there was a field burial that had been done. They had to add their names to it. So that's how devastating this was. In conclusion, my second trip was far more personal, more impactful, but in different ways. I got to know the people and their individual stories from serving them. Um, I remember one woman was asked if she blamed she was in the north, and she asked if she blamed Israel for not being ready, the government for not being ready.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, I used to walk along the border of my town. She was near Hezbollah every day, and there were grapevines on the other side. They were farmers, and I saw that every day. She said, I should have noticed. It's my fault because I should have noticed that the weeds had grown up and the farmers were no longer there. It was only soldiers. So this was a long time in the planning, a long time in the thinking. Um, I saw anti-Semitism firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the change in the people. I told you about our friend who spoke to us quite angrily about what the Jews had done, and
And he was one of the speakers, right?
he was one of the speakers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was filming him, if you remember, and he actually told me to stop because the IDF would get it, and his family would be killed, and so I deleted the video. But he actually got quite mad at me for that. Anyway, the second time I saw him, his anger is all at Hamas,
Mm-hmm.
like all at Hamas. And his case is, please don't give this a chance for Israel to rule us on the West Bank. Allow the Palestinian Authority to come back into power. Of course, the Palestinian Authority were the ones who Hamas eventually came from, that
Okay.
historically have been killing Jews. So that's probably not a possibility, but it shows you the difference in the change. He no longer makes a case that he has a right to return to his land. It's sort of implied that he might, but he doesn't make that case as clearly. So it's had a huge impact on the thinking of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I experienced things that left me with lasting PTSD. I actually went into tunnels that were designed to be like the ones in Hamas. You can't even stand up in them. I am extremely claustrophobic now. Um, I can't have anything strapped around me, or like in a medical procedure, anything or anything like that. Anything over my face really bothers me. And I'll go back and experience being in that tunnel again. It's going to probably last a long time. I have to be careful when I do these things because I can only do them so long. Um, I haven't even unpacked all the photos.
Yeah.
That's why I'm only doing this one day. And yes, I would do it again. It seems kind of counterintuitive, but I think it's important enough. I would do it again. It's given me lots of opportunity to speak into people's lives uh, about what hate really is, um, and and to understand that the issue is not, it's not just land, it's not just um, it's just hate. People that are profiting on hate. Hamas is profiting on hate and convincing people that the Jews hate them. And honestly, they don't. Um, it's they are struggling with not hating them, but they don't hate them. So that's my presentation, brother.
Thank
Do
you.
you?
Now, so my big question is, how
Yeah.
can those of us who are Christians pray for the Israeli people and for the Palestinian people? I know that we pray for the peace of Jerusalem, right? And I think
Hmm.
it's in Psalm 126.
Yeah. So I would say, stay focused on God's will, not our will and human wisdom. I don't know that there's an answer on this side of heaven that's going to bring a final solution. I pray that there is. I pray very much that the Jewish people don't become calloused and hateful.
Right.
I speak into that as well when I see it, because I do see that. I've seen Christian nationalism, that idea that Israel is no longer the chosen people of God, and I see that come out a lot. People like Candace Owens, I speak out against that very, very vocally. So get to know the truth. Find out what's really true. If you think it, my dad the other day told me, "Hey, this is a long-standing issue about which one of Abraham's sons got the blessing," and I'm like, "No, it's not. It's really not. It goes much bigger than that. Most of the Arab countries have accepted the Abrahamic Accord. Most Jews are not even religious; they're secular. Um,
Yeah.
I wish that they were religious, but they're secular, and and as a result, they're not interested in whose son received the blessing at all. They just want to have, their land and their a place where they can be safe. It actually began. The actual first involvement even began before 1948. Way
Hmm.
back in 1945, you'll see where Jews try or Arabs tried to claim that the Jews in Haifa um,
Yeah.
were a part of a conspiracy that had already lit the Al-Aqsa Mosque on fire. Wasn't even true, and then raped and killed people in 1945, and did it again about 10 years later. So it's been going on a long time. So,
All right. Well, thank you for that update about Israel. What's been going on Israel, Kevin, in your most
mhm.
recent trip there. Sobering things, stuff, you know?
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, it's a brotherhood somewhat. I think the passages thing really is kind of a brotherhood. You go through it, and no matter how many times you go, I encourage you to go back if you can, Matt. It's an awesome thing, and it'll definitely be different at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. And to those of you who are going to watch this, hopefully we'll have another interview soon for you to watch. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, thank you.